Good morning. Thank you for joining our Mork Family Department webinar. We'll be getting started in about 3 to 4 minutes. And so please stand by and we'll get started shortly. Thank you. We'll be getting started in just a minute or two. Thank you very much for your patience. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Ray Fujioka. I'm with the USC's Viterbi School of Engineering within our Student Affairs and Experiences Office. And I'm going to have a quick presentation, and then I will turn it over to our Mork Family Department to answer your questions and receive more information specific to the department. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So first off, congratulations on your admission to USC. Our admission process is very competitive, so it's quite a feat getting admitted to USC. So again, congratulations. A quick housekeeping detail. When you are ready to start asking questions, do use the Q&A function, not the chat function. It makes it much easier for us to see your questions and respond to them appropriately. So welcome to Los Angeles. We are a cultural center, and on the right, you can just see some of the things that are right around USC itself. So literally within walking distance, you have access to 3 of LA's museums. At our USC Village, you have access to a number of food options, as well as a Trader Joe's and a Target. There is a very nice rose garden right across the street. It's a good place to just sort of relax and take in a bit of nature. And of course, our Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where we play football, is also right across the street. And then 50 cents away, basically by bus, but it's a special bus called the Dash. You have access to all of the entertainment and restaurants that are in downtown Los Angeles. So that includes things like LA Live, the Grammy Museum, our Disney Concert Hall, um, additional ethnic food options in our Chinatown, Little Tokyo, Olvera Street for Mexican food. And then within a short drive, there's the Santa Monica Pier, Venice Beach, Beverly Hills, Hollywood, Universal Studios, a lot of places that you've probably seen on television and are certainly already familiar with. We're also a global hub for innovation. The map on the left kind of gives you an idea of just a few of the things that are located in Los Angeles. So, Twitter, Google has a large presence here, as does Facebook. Two of our own institutions, our Institute for Creative Technologies and Information Sciences Institute, are also in what has become known as Silicon Beach. And then on to the University of Southern California itself. We are ranked 19 among more than 1,000 public and private universities. We have had a long history of cross-disciplinary education. In fact, we were doing cross-disciplinary education long before it was trendy, and almost every university was touting it. We also have a new over $1 billion initiative started by our current president, Carol Folt, called the Frontiers of Computing, that is designed to bring a certain level of computer expertise to the entire university. But in addition to that, it does have a number of other things as well, including a naming grant for our Department of Computer Science, as well as a new building for computer science and a new school for advanced computing that will be housed within our Viterbi School of Engineering. And speaking of the Viterbi School of Engineering, just a few things to look at. We have over 96,000 alumni worldwide, and they are very active. They are eager, willing, and interested in assisting other fellow Trojans, especially newly graduated Trojans that are still working on building out their networks. Our graduate student population is 30% women and 68% men, which means that we actually have a substantially higher percentage of women among our grad students than at many other engineering schools across the US. We are a major center for research, and we have over 183 million in annual research expenditures. As far as faculty goes, we have 199 tenure track faculty spread across all of our departments. I want to show this slide on showing that we're a leader in computing AI simply because computer science in general and AI in specific basically have become a significant part of every engineering discipline. So this is just to show that whether you're part of the Mork family department or any other part of our Viterbi School of Engineering, there will be ways to interact with AI if your area of interest falls in that direction. Obviously very important because most of our master's students are interested in going directly into industry after they complete their master's degree. Viterbi has its own career services group called Career Connections. This slide just shows you just some of the things that they do. So there are signature events. There are two career and internship expos. And then on the next slide, this is just an idea of just some of the programming offered by our Viterbi Career Connections. So it's a great resource. It's something to take advantage of while you're a student and is available to you actually even after you've graduated. We have a very diverse student population, as this slide indicates. Viterbi itself is obviously committed to inspiring and educating future engineering leaders. If you want to speak to some of our graduate students, we do have a graduate student ambassador program, and they are available via chat. So although you're going to have a chance to talk with our advisors and the chair of the Mork Family Department this morning, if you want additional input from students, do take advantage of our graduate student ambassadors. We also have a mentorship program to help you kind of integrate into Viterbi once you get here, because it can be very stressful familiarizing yourself not only with a new university, but often a new city, and in many cases, a new country. So you can sign up for the mentorship program, and you will be assigned a mentor that will help you make that shift into becoming an integrated part of USC. Speaking of such, one of the ways you do that is getting involved. This gives you an idea of just some of the ways to get involved within Viterbi itself. But more than just in Viterbi, you also have access to the entire university. So there are tailgates and football games, wellness events, hackathons that are actually university-wide as opposed to just within the Viterbi school, mixers and networking events. So by all means, do get involved. It's one of the benefits of coming to a school like USC. We do consider safety a major of major importance for our students. So we do have a lot of different services. So on the left-hand side here, you see something called USC Patrol Zone. This is an area that surrounds USC that has additional security and, more importantly, additional services. So the USC shuttles go through this area to pick up and drop people off from their housing within that area to USC. And probably most important is that we have a service so that after dark, you can actually call Lyft, and they will come pick you up at your classroom, take you back to your apartment. And as long as you're within this pink zone here, that service is completely free to you. So speaking of housing, there is both USC-owned housing and housing that is not owned by USC. All of our graduate students are housed off campus, but most of the USC-owned housing is within an easy walk or bike ride of the university. And honestly speaking, if you're not familiar with with Los Angeles, we do recommend, at least in that first semester or first year, that you actually try to find housing within that patrolled zone, because we know that's a good, safe area for our students. Once you've spent some time here, you're welcome to search for housing further out, as you become more familiar with the city. Submitting the statement of intent. As soon as you know that you're definitely coming to USC, we recommend submitting that, because it's going to give you access to pre-orientation resources. That's when you'll be able to join the mentorship program. You'll be able to connect with your department through academic webinars, as well as just being able to reach out to your department advisors. It's also when you'll be able to enter the housing lottery. So if you want to live in USC-owned housing, there's actually not quite enough housing for all graduate students. So if you want to live in USC owned housing, submitting the statement of intent early and then going ahead and immediately entering the USC housing lottery will improve your chances of getting USC owned into USC owned housing. Our deadlines, most of you are going to have a commitment deadline of April 15th. So that's the deadline for submitting the statement of intent. If you're an international student, once you submit that, your next step is going to be submitting your financial documents. We have a new system for that called Trojan International. So that is a dedicated site for submitting your financial documentation and dealing with all the I-20 issues. So once you've submitted your statement of intent, make sure that you go to Trojan International and submit your financial documentation so that we can get your I-20 out to you as quickly as we can. And that's the end of my presentation. So at this point, I am going to turn the presentation over to Professor Andrea Hodge.
All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. So I am Professor Hodge. I am the chair of the department. And first of all, I want to welcome you and congratulate you once again on getting admitted. I am a material scientist, but I do represent all the three fields inside our department: chemical engineering, material science, and petroleum engineering. So I'm going to give you some quick slides, and then we can go to questions, or you can ask questions as we go through it. Okay, you can see my screen, okay? I assume. Okay. And so again, welcome to the Mork family department of chemical engineering and material science. We actually a department that has three fields: chemical engineering, material science, and petroleum. And our goal is really to matter engineer to create healthier, safer, and sustainable, and a more sustainable tomorrow through research. Our department currently has 28 tenure faculty, 3 teaching faculty, 7 adjunct faculty, and from those, 13 of the professors are chairs or named professors, which means they are at basically some of our top faculty in Viterbi. Our student population is about 136 undergrads, which is all in chemical engineering, about 132 master students and 97 PhD students. So I just wanted to give you an idea that as a master's student, you're part of a bigger group and that you're well represented because the department is pretty even among the population of students. Regarding the master's degree that we offer, I just want to make it a little clear because it's a little confusing sometimes through the website. So we have our chemical engineering master's program. We have materials engineering and petroleum engineering. And inside of that, we have a few other ones, such as like material science. What we did is the material science and materials engineering, they're very easy to kind of come together. If you switch, the changes are very minimal and you can do that later on. Or if you're more interested in machine learning, we actually have a materials engineering program with the emphasis on machine learning, and those classes are specified. And so it's not that you write computer code for machine learning, but rather that you use machine learning for material science, chemical engineering, and petroleum problems. And those classes are taught by faculty across the 3 disciplines. You can find out more by asking our advisors later if you're interested. But again, you don't have to do that right now. You're already admitted. It is very easy as you come if you find some interest in your classes. But as you start taking your core classes, you will be fine. And then you can just make sure to talk to the advisors because they can really guide you through the different classes and make sure that you're on track, because we also want you to stay on track to graduation. We also have a new master's coming up in the fall 2024, which is energy engineering. And that is, I guess, a cross-disciplinary master's for people who want to go into industry and go into anything that had to do with carbon sequestration, hydrogen technologies, sustainable materials, sustainable energy, such as solar energy, wind energy. So you will find out more once it's actually launched. The program will become official sometime this summer, and there will be more information. Again, just to give you some glimpse, if you already admitted, you can easily go to any of these programs that we offer in the department. Just have to talk to our advisors and make sure that you're matched to exactly what you want to be matched to. Once you're here, we have a lot of activities and student organizations. And again, I'm mostly speaking about our department only. So we have student organizations, which I encourage you to join. So we have AKI, which is for chemical engineers. We have MRS, the Materials Research Society chapter, SPE, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Women in Science and Engineering, and then Women in Chemical Engineering clubs. And so those all hosted inside our department. And they have activities, lectures, kind of presentations throughout the year, as well as sometimes bringing people from outside, alumni, to see if there's match up for internships and things like that. As you're making your decision and about coming to USC, what resources do you have? So really the department website, Some things will be found in there. Some things that's easier to navigate than others. Current graduate students, so this student ambassador program will be great to reach out. Today you will have a panel of our graduate students, so that's also a good way. And if you really have a specific question and you might rather ask the students, so I will say that you can reach out to our advisors and then they can connect you to a student depending on your field of interest. And then maybe that's a better way for you to get all your questions answered. We also, again, of course, are advisors at the Student Affairs Office. And the goal is to really give you as much information as possible, which is a lot, but so you get the most out of your time at USC and the most about our department. When students come to our department at the master level, they always ask, so what is it? What can I do inside the department? Again, Viterbi has a lot of opportunities, but what is specifically in here? So it depends on what you want to do. So you can work in research in some of the various groups. You can find the information about our research groups on the website. Some faculty, depending if they have availability or not, they take a student. Sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's on a volunteer basis. It really depends on what you're interested in and who the faculty is looking for. So typically a master's student in a group will work 5 to 10 hours a week because obviously you have to do classes. And then they do research. Some students get to publish, some students don't, but they get now valuable skills to add up to the resume, whether they want to continue on to graduate school or whether they want to use those skills later on to find a job. We also have some engineering lab assistants. These are for undergraduate labs. Some students find this very enjoyable to basically run and help run the labs and set up the labs. This is a 20-hour per week job. It is pay. We have a few of those. 3 or 4 of those. You can be there a year or two and basically help run the undergraduate labs. Again, the students really like it. It's something that they find very enjoyable, but those are for chemical engineering labs. If you want something more chill, but you still want to meet and get to know everybody in the department, our office assistants are always from our department, from any of the 3 fields, chemie, mathsci, or material science. So if you're interested in that, again, you reach out to the advisors and you let them know because we post those at the beginning of the year. Again, if you just want some pocket money while you're here, or you're just interested to just do something else in classes, we also have greater positions in class producers, which are not quite a TA, but they're a little bit more involved and maybe in some of the computational labs, or in some of the classes that require a lot of hands-on. So those are all positions that are available for the master students inside our department. You could do more than one, but I'm just letting you know some of the things that we can do. And of course, I will encourage you to go to the Viterbi Career Connections very early on to start connecting and looking at internship opportunities. I think the students find that very valuable. But again, it's whatever works for you. You should know whether you just need to focus on in classes, or you want to do classes and something a little bit outside, or you really want to do research, or you just want a part-time job. All those things can be arranged because our student population is about 130 or so master students. We do try to accommodate as many as we can throughout the department, but you need to let us know. You need to reach out to the advisors, and then we will try to help you as much as possible to make sure there's a good match. So what are the research areas in case you're interested in research? So 5 main focus areas. And again, those can be found on our website. This is in really broad umbrellas, are sustainable cities and responsible energy, health and wellness, harnessing data science and machine learning, quantum materials, and then advanced materials and manufacturing methods. Again, this faculty that is in more than one category. And then perhaps, with the advisors, it will be an easier way to get you to have a good match if that's something you want to do. Or maybe even sometimes the students, after the first semester, they meet a faculty member that they really click with, or find an area of interest that really speaks to you. And then maybe that's a good way to do it. But again, there's many different ways to get engaged in that department, which I highly encourage you to, so that you can take advantage of all these opportunities. Really have faculty that can get to know you and can write letters for you later, depending whether you want to go again to academia or into industry. Again, all really increasing that network that you come in with and inside the department, and also for people that already from the alumni that already left the department. So as a student, a long time ago that I was, and looking at what the department does and how I can engage with the department, we have many activities throughout. All of our activities are for master students, PhD students, and undergraduates. So we have welcome events. So here's a little picture. You can see we bring an ice cream truck and everybody kind of hangs out, get some goodies about the department, get to see everybody since we are in different buildings depending on the research that you do, or depending whether you're taking classes or whether you're an undergraduate student. So you get to meet everybody there. We have about 2 of these events a year. There's also a preview week, which you get to meet the PhD students, and then we have some events in there as well. We have the student symposium, which is actually coming up this Friday. So if you're in the area, I will welcome you to reach out to reach out to one of our advisors and see if you want to come by. It's all Friday. It's from like 9 to 2:30 p.m. And you get to see all the research, the talks and posters. We encourage our master students to be part of that. Again, if you are in a research group, we also have some holiday celebrations like around December after finals, before everybody goes on break. And of course, we have celebrations of graduation, which is the ultimate goal here. So what I'm trying to show you is there's many ways to engage. You don't just want to come in and take classes. You really want to build that network, make connections with your peers, with other graduate students, with undergraduate students, with the student organizations, and of course, with the staff and faculty in the department who will support you. And so I think with that, that's the end of my presentation. And so I will stop sharing now. And in case there's any questions in there.
Thank you very much, Professor Hodge. So now we're going to move into basically a little bit of additional information plus the option of asking questions of our advisors. One of our Mork Family Department students, Chen-Chi Chen, and our 2 advisors are Candy Escobedo and William Wences. Professor Hodge, you're welcome to stay on if you want, in case people have questions for you as well. So I am going to turn it over to the 4 of you, and William, if you want to start, you or Candy want to start, just maybe providing a little bit of information on things that you may want students to know as they're coming in, that might help them in their initial transition. And for all of the student participants, now is a good time to use the Q&A function to ask any questions that you have. This is a great opportunity to get information directly from the departments.
So I'm going to log off because I have to go to another event. But if you have any questions, please let us know. And I look forward to seeing you here in the fall. Please come by the office and say hi. I always have candy, yes, and good candy. So please come by, say hello, introduce yourself. Looking forward to seeing you in the fall. And again, please use the resources that we said and fight on.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. And by the way, students in attendance, she meant literal candy because we also have our wonderful advisor, Candy Escobedo, here with us. So no, she doesn't have candy locked up in her office. But let me give you all just a short introduction. Just to myself, maybe Candy and Yu Chen. Oh, it looks like Yu Chen. I know Yu Chen is having some connectivity issues, so we'll sort of play it by ear. But my name is William Wences. I am the Director of Student Affairs here in the Mork Family Department. And I, along with Candy and our other advisor, Brenda, kind of oversee all aspects of student affairs, of course, working in tandem with Dr. Hodge. So I will go ahead and let you, Chen, and Candy introduce themselves, and then I'll give just a brief overview about student services in general. So maybe, Candy, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Candy Escobedo. I'm the graduate advisor here at Mork. So I work very closely with the master's students, such a great population. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you. Come summer, we'll have a few orientation events. So we'll definitely get a chance to check in again then. And then I'll also assist you with registering for classes when that time comes, come summer. So looking forward to meeting all of you, and it's going to be a great time, a challenging time, but I think you all will be so much more better for it.
Thank you so much, Candy. And then Yu Chen, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself. For all those in attendance, his name reads Cheng Chi, but just because he had to use another student's login. But Yu Chen, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eugene, and you can call me Jacob, and I'm a Master of Material Science, and I'm in second year, and it's really fun to become a Viterbi student, and I'm glad to have to get this seminar, like uh to to enjoy this and this seminar for people and to explain my experience for people and to know better about USC, and that's about it.
Very cool. Thank you
Is
so
there any
much.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jacob. Yes, we do have a set of questions for you for all of those here in attendance. If you want to just go ahead and put additional questions in the Q&A, either for me, for Candy, for Jacob here, all is fair at this point. Just a brief introduction to student services. Candy doesn't give herself enough credit. She is going to be your go-to person, your go-to advisor at the master's level. So if you have any questions about any of the master's processes, you have questions about registration, later on, if you have questions about orientation, we don't lead orientation, but we can help facilitate some of those questions for you, as with any other questions. If you're having trouble with your classes, if you want to get connected with our director of wellness, basically Candy's going to be your go-to person. I'm always going to be available as well, but she is our department lead for the master's population, and she's pretty much the expert. In terms of our student services, we have virtual drop-ins available 4 days a week. We have one-on-one appointments. We have email communications with students. We're also working on website revamp as well, and Candy's actually taking the lead on that as well. So thank you for that again, Candy. And in general, you know, we are a smaller department, which makes the connections between us and the students really, really, really great, really, really close. And we do tend to sort of build those personal connections. So you're actually in a really good place to be here at USCM within MFD. And by the way, we're Mork Family Department, but we call ourselves either Mork or MFD. I think MFD tends to be the more popular one. But with that, I will go ahead and start asking you some questions, Jacob. So my first question for you, just very briefly, your name, your major, your hometown, and more importantly, why did you choose USC?
Um, my name is Jacob, yeah, as you know, and I'm an international student. I'm came from Taiwan, and for master, and and my major is material science, Viterbi, and why USC? Because I I like I love the reputation of the school and the excellency academy excellencies and like the research opportunity. I know that before I get in USC, is the rocket research is like very good. So I'm really into it, and the most of it is the strong alumni. It's like because back in Taiwan, there's a lot of like influencer, like a strong influencer, like politicians, like or like a lot of famous people. They're all graduate from USC, so it's like sort of like my dream school for like being on the USC. So I applied and I got in. I'm glad, I'm very glad. And so why USC? And there's a very like important issue about it is the weather, the California weather. I love it. It's dry, the warm sun, the cozy weather. Just love it, and a lot of like activities out there, mountains and ocean. I can surf and snowboarding at the same day in California. So I love here. So that's the main reason I why I choose USC. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very cool,
Thank
I
Jacob.
you.
love it.
Thank you. If I can ask you a question,
Yeah.
can you speak to what the classes are like within Mork, the rigor, how demanding it is?
In Mork, I got like 5F1, the mechanical engineering of material is great. The professional Kastner it's just wonderful teacher, explain well, and all clarify the difficulties, and it gives us like more information that we know, and it tests. It's not like really test over the limit, and in the demand, I usually work for 3 to 5 hours on weekdays for the course, like every course, like 8 units till 12 units, and I'm not I'm not I'm not consider that like a crazy workload, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So demand, it's not really crazy, but it's you know it's in a normal way. Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Very cool, Chang-Chi. Hey, so I have a follow-up question
Yep.
for that from a student here in attendance, Noor. Can you talk about what is the typical class schedule like for a master student? So minimum number of units, is it typical to take 2, 3 classes? Just the standard workload for you as an MS student.
Okay. It's usually per semester is like 8 units to 12 units, and in summertime get a 4 unit. But in 8 units, you can like four classes. I mean, like 4 units is like 2 classes per week, and a week class is about like 2 hours. So it's roughly about like 7 to 8 hours of courses, and a workload homework. It depends on teachers and depends on what classes. So it's, as I say, like 3 to 5 hours per day. We're working on the courses, study, homework, sort of like etc. And it's not like crazy much. Ask me, I mean, my perspective.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for that,
Yeah.
Jacob. But yeah, Jacob's absolutely right. The minimum amount of units to be considered full-time is 8, which is generally speaking about 2 classes. If you're an international student, 8 is the minimum to be able to maintain your F1 visa. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for that, Jacob. I have another question for you. How has the program helped you with either planning your career goals, facilitating those, just in general? How has the program aligned with your career goals?
Oh, there's like a lot of like USC provided like a lot of seminars for like students to understand their future plans. There in on the we got like an Engage SC app. There's like crazy amount of seminars for people, like for students to attend, which is great. I attend a lot for to boost my interview skills, and or like boosting my job like opportunity. And USC got we got every semester we got the career fair, which is very useful. We can use like a lot of like opportunity to connect with the HRs at every kind of the company, and which it's really good for my future plans, my career in the future careers. And I actually got some interviews like through these like the career fair, like Intel and TSMC's, and with some Micron, those semiconductor manufacturing company, which is great. So that's a bonus for me. And thanks for USC for like teach me a lot of like skills, interview skills, and the CV, and to how to improve my CVs. And there's like a lot of like lab work we could do. We can elevate our skills and even into our CVs. So that's great. I don't do lab work, but I know a lot of people do lab work, but you know they're doing great. They're doing great. They learn a lot, and that's why like our MST like department provide There's a lot of information, a lot of resources that we could get.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. And wow, congrats on all the opportunities that you've seized so far. It looks like your future is
Thank you.
very bright for all of
Thank
you
you.
here. I'm sure you'd love to connect with Jacob once you're here in the fall. Although, Jacob, I think you're graduating this May, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, congrats on that as well. So here's a question for the both of you. Maybe Candy, you can start us off. So Noor in the Q&A asks, when do we start talking with professors about research for the fall?
Nor, you're asking all of the great questions. We have so many master's students that are interested in research. That's such a huge component of your academic and professional development here. And we really benefit from having such a small department because it's very easy for our students to access the faculty, given that we're not as big as other departments here at Viterbi. So it is pretty feasible and accessible to get research opportunities. It's as simple as going to office hours and asking like, hey, William, I really enjoy your research on, I don't know, sustainable energy. Do you have space in your lab that I can join? And if they feel that you're a good fit, it's a perfect match. I would recommend if you're an incoming student, I would perhaps wait until the beginning of orientation in the summer so you can start researching faculty and maybe getting together your CV, your resume, and then making those connections with the faculty. But really at any point during your 2 years here, you can start to do research. It's just a matter of connecting with the faculty. And even if you don't know the faculty member or you're not enrolled in their class, you can still make that connection and reach out to them. Our faculty is such a great group of people, very friendly, very warm, and they definitely want to see students succeed. Like it really brightens my day when I hear about professors making outreach efforts to students. So you're in a really good position, but at any point, but I would start thinking about it in the summer. I'm not sure if I can share my screen. But what I usually recommend students do is if they don't have a faculty member already in mind, I would highly recommend going to our department website, which is chems.usc.edu. And there is a tab at the top that says people. And if you go to the faculty directory, thank you, Julie. You can search faculty by affiliation type, by area of affiliation. So for example, you could type in machine learning and check out which faculty members have machine learning as one of their research topics.
Oh, Candy, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but you do have the ability
Oh,
to share your
perfect.
screen now.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so let's do this from the top. So we'll go to our department website, and if you go to people and then faculty directory, so we have Dr. Hodge here, Dr. Momstad, he's our chemical engineering faculty lead, Dr. Shaghi, our petroleum director. So you could type in by name or by, see, I've already done that today. Let's see, machine learning. So we have a good amount of professors that cover machine learning, for example, and you can click on any of the profiles. You can see their contact information, their CV, research website, and then of course, a breakdown of their research topics. And of course, if you have any questions with this process, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to help facilitate that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Candy. As you can all see, Candy is very well versed on all these processes, so she's going to be a wonderful
you.
resource for you all. Jacob, do you have anything to add to that? Or should we move on to the next question? Yeah, okay. All right, awesome. Yeah, actually, Candy, do you want to go ahead and ask Jacob?
Yeah. Jacob, I noticed you really brightened up when you mentioned being in LA. Can you speak to what your experience has been in Los Angeles, what you like to do for fun, maybe some areas that are worth USC students checking out? 'Cause I think being in LA is such a huge draw of USC for our incoming students. Oh, sorry, Jacob, I think you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. LA is like the best place to stay on. The weather is great, and there's like crazy amount of outdoor activities to attend. Me personally, I love outdoor activities, and I love surfing, I love hiking, and there's like a couple weeks ago, I went to the hot spring the outdoor hot spring for hiking is so great. And for non-outdoor activities, there are like great food, tons of great food in Koreatown, or like in Little Tokyo, in downtown, the Central Market, and or like the Groove. There's a lot of things to do. And Malibu, the sunsets like crazy. It's so good. And come on, you can't restrict for in and out, isn't it? It's so good. So, and there's like a lot of like we could go like Irvine or like a little road trip to San Diego. It's so good. And there's like the vibe is great. It's just chilling. The weather is just chilling. The food is just chilling. Everything is just so great. Like and like around of USC, instead of like United, there's a little crime in here, but all things great. But we got like the free lift for students at night after like 6 p.m. So I feel safe for like riding the lift, even though it's free. So just get ride it whatever I want. But instead of like in the DPS zone or like around like I mean like a mile, I guess, like around the school, which it's enough for me to like cruising around. And around like USC, we got a lot of like stores. Everything we got is in here, like CVS, McDonald's, and some Taco Bell, some grocery stores. We got Smart Final, Raft, and Trader Joe's, Target. We got everything here, so it's just fine just living here. You'll even need cars to live in LA. Just we got you. USC got you. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Thank you so much, Jacob. So one last question, potentially last question for you, unless students have their own questions. So I wanted to ask, it's a two-parter. Just one, generally speaking, what advice would you have to these incoming master students? And then if you can just briefly touch upon what are your plans after completing your degree?
I'm pursuing a career in the semiconductor, like manufacturing industry. So that's my mainly goal for those. I know there's like a lot of like career for material science. Uh, my 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 friends got like in some sort of like some robotic career sort of stuff. So that's pretty impressive. And there's I don't think there's like a lot of like position for material science in Bay Area, but more in like Arizona for the more manufacturing process. And we got like process engineer, equipment engineer. That's mostly our position for material science, and that's pretty much it. As I know, as my knowledge, as my perspective. Yeah.
Gotcha. And any last pieces of advice for these students?
Advice, I just want to say just pursue your dreams. And there's a lot of friends who are like they don't only take course in material science, they take course in mechanical engineering or in the computer science to combine the material science. So we got like a lot of like crazy knowledge. They can do like Python and to solver to add in solver to better better the process for material science. And like there's a lot of I don't me personally I'm not that great to learn a lot of stuff. And but my friends, they are like super great. They're involving in mechanical engineering and computer science and material science. So for my advice, I mean, pursue your dream, do what you want, and learn more, and play hard, learn hard, play hard. Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Jacob. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to any student questions that we may have. And those of you here in attendance, if you want to just go ahead and ask some more in the Q&A box, that's totally fine. So Candy, I think this will be most appropriate for you. What is the difference between the MS in materials science versus materials engineering in terms of coursework, career prospects or opportunities, and what each career looks like? I know we're kind of limited on what we can talk about regarding the career, but in terms of the actual requirements.
Yeah, good question. So I am not classically trained as an engineer, but my understanding of the program, just based on working with our graduate students, is that material science is more about the fundamentals of material selection, whereas materials engineering is more about the application. I will say the programs are very similar. Material science is a little more structured, and I can go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to share the course catalog. This is a really great resource that I highly recommend you all bookmark once you are here and registered and enrolled, because this will tell you in conjunction with your enrollment year, what specific classes are required for your degree. So material science is a little more structured. You are required to take 12 units, and I'll go over this again in the summer too, so don't feel like you have to memorize this now. But you do need to take 12 units of core requirements, and then the remaining units will be either material science electives or engineering elective courses. I know Jacob had mentioned he had taken, or his friends had taken classes in aerospace and mechanical engineering. So you do have some flexibility within Viterbi. Whereas materials engineering, it's a little more of a free-for-all. You just have to take a minimum of 20 units of material science classes. So you would just refer back to this list here. So there's a lot of overlap. I think the material science one's just a little more structured, but based on the feedback I've heard from students, it won't hinder you professionally to do one or the other. They're both, you'll be receiving a great education regardless of the one you choose. We have a lot of students that work in a variety of industries. We've had students working with Burt's Bees, which is a cosmetics company. We've had students work with Intel, students working semiconductor industry. So there's a large variety of applications. We have chemical engineering students that work in like the EV industry, so electric vehicles. So you have a great variety of options. And there is also worth mentioning, there is a third material science engineering emphasis you can choose, that is machine learning. So this is a little more structured as well, but this is through materials engineering, and you do have some core requirements along with material science electives, and of course, Viterbi engineering electives as well. But I know this was a lot of information, but we will review this more in depth come orientation.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Candy. I think that pretty much summed it up. Okay, so Nora asked one more question. I need to take some undergraduate courses for prerequisites. Do grad students have priority in registering, or is it just normal registering period with undergrad? So Candy, you may know a little bit more about this, but my understanding is it's the same registration period for basically all levels. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, so for context, our students are currently registering now for the next fall semester. So grad students get to register maybe a few days before the undergraduate students. But if you're enrolling to start in the fall, you would be registering after undergrads have registered in their respective undergrad classes. But we'll work closely on that and make sure that you do have a spot in the prerequisite classes that you need to take.
Yeah, so if it makes you feel any better, Nor, our classes don't typically tend to fill up.
No.
So if they're prerequisites within our department, we don't anticipate any issues. But Candy is already a resource for you. You have questions or concerns, maybe you want to review that potential schedule with her. I'm sure she'd be more than happy to meet up with you.
Yeah, but you'll be registering in classes around July, August. So you do have some amount of time. But feel free to email me if you have any questions though in the meantime.
I'll include my email, and Candy, maybe you can include yours in the chat box as well. And that's pretty much it. But we're happy to take any questions from you all. So We'll give it maybe just a minute or two. If you guys have any questions, feel free to just go ahead and put those in the Q&A. We're here, so we'd be happy to entertain them. And Ray, I believe this is really it right after we're done with the student questions.
Yes, that's pretty much it. So if there are, you know, if there are no additional questions in the next minute or so, then we're pretty much done. I did want to mention one thing, just so that new students don't panic, is that in your first semester, you actually are among the last group of students to actually register. But after that first semester, you can participate in early registration and basically, you can get every course you need. But as both William and Candy said, and within the MFD department, there generally is not a problem in getting the classes you need.
That's exactly right. And I don't believe we have any more questions. So I think we are good. Ray, do you want to go ahead and close this out?
Yes, I will go ahead and close this up. Thank you very much to all of our panelists for their time and expertise, and many thanks to our attendees, obviously, for coming in and asking their questions. We hope to see you in the fall. Fight on.